Guys, this is Bridget B, and welcome back to The Dirty Blonde. I am so happy to see you here, and I hope you enjoy and subscribe and do all the fun things because it's a party. On today's episode, I am going to do a little... Well, I'm not going to try it on. For that, you have to go somewhere else. But for this week's episode here, I am going to share some tips and tricks that I picked up along the way that has helped me feel my sexiest even when I just want to stay in bed. You know, a lot of us in the industry and strippers alike, our whole job is to look sexy. But when you don't feel it, it can take its toll on you. So there are certain things that I like to do to kind of get me there, you know what I'm saying? Kind of help me feel a little bit better. Plus, when a camera is all up in your face for most of your work, there's definitely certain things that you just have to do. So I'm going to share that with you right here today. When I first started the industry, I really didn't know much. I knew my basic hygienic situations that I needed control, and that's just obvious and common sense. But when you are surrounded by so many people, and more often than not, you'll never see them again except when you're at work, everything just gets blown even more out of proportion. So, the littlest things between the heat, between being in an environment that is very enclosed, between having so many people or lack thereof, and maybe you're doing a solo, whatever the case may be, you're there. There is no way out of it. There are no windows, there is nothing. So you can imagine some of the horror stories that not only I have, but that a lot of my coworkers have taken part in. And it's just human nature, and luckily we all support each other and we're all there to pick up the pieces and keep the show going. But luckily I figured it out for myself. So last time I showed you this little gem, and this is where all my little toiletries are. Right, well, there's a lot of things in my arsenal that I have, not only on set, like I have with my toiletry kit, but also just at home in general. But since we're just gonna talk about going to work, one of the things that is definitely a must for almost every female performer, unless she's allergic, is this. It is called a douche. Now, a douche is not exactly that guy on your phone that didn't call you back a few weeks ago. The douche is a vinegar-based water solution. So the technicalities of it is basically an anti-disinfectant. You open this up, you put this in where it's supposed to go, and you squirt it back out. Now, this was not a part of my ritual when I started the industry. It wasn't something that I was very familiar with. I picked this up mostly because of work. It is a very lovely solvent of issues such as odor and that sort of dry feeling that sometimes the weather itself can give you. And as a female, nothing to be embarrassed about. As a female, we have this naturally occurring situations all the time. And as long as you figure out what works best for your body and your system, you kind of get it down pat, and then it becomes like second nature. So before every movie, and mostly, especially during your period, this is something really handy to have because it lets you feel really nice and refreshed. One little tip with this is when it's empty, once this comes off and you've already used it all, we in the industry like to put some water, some warm water, and half of warm water and half the solution, or just all warm water. We mix it around and then we use it again. Again, that's just a nice, natural way to feel more refreshed. And ever since I started, it's just something that's part of my routine and I really enjoy it. And then comes the deodorizer. Now, deodorants are very important. I have my one deodorant. Let's see if I can bring that out. Is what I've been using for years. I love it because it doesn't show up on any of my black outfits and it's super clear. But then there is down there. And when you are refreshed, you want to keep that feeling going all day long. I love this Dove. This has been really, really handy. But there is something that I learned, that there are different places that it gets made at. Now, if I am not mistaken, not only is there made in Mexico, but there's also made in Italy. And my favorite one are the ones that come made in Italy. And I only found those when I go to like Boots in London, or if I'm in Dubai, anywhere in Europe and Italy, it'll just say made in Italy. So those seem to be a lot stronger. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way, but these do the trick also, even though it doesn't say Italy. It smells like flowers, which I love, but it's not very strong. So when you are sweating and, if you're in the middle of August at Joshua Tree somewhere filming, this is nice and handy, and it's better than a really strong perfume because I love that my perfume walks in before I do, but that's only on my neck or behind my elbow, in my little sexy spots, secret sexy spots. So when you deodorize, I also love my skin to smell good, and one of my favorites, and it has been for years since they launched, is the Sol de Janeiro Bum Bum Cream. Listen, I'm sure it works for someone's bum, but it hasn't for mine. My bum is all plastic surgery, so I'm not gonna give any credit to any cream for my ass. However, the smell, great. It smells like you just came out of Brazil. You are having a wonderful sunset in Rio de Janeiro, and it's sexy and warm and sweaty. That's what this smell reminds me of, so I love wearing it because this too makes me feel nice and sexy. So shaving is a big one. I don't have it with me because I like to use disposable men's razor. I'll tell you why. Let me see if I can find one. Actually, I do, but it broke. So I like to use men's disposable because it's something about the freshness of the blade. I just like that feeling of a fresh blade on my skin. But the trick that I do is, before I shave, I use this body oil. Again, this is an OG favorite of mine. I've used it for years, but I just ran out and I actually just bought it not too long ago, and this will be gone in like a month. This makes my whole skin also smell like tropical, like paradise. I love my skin to smell like the beach, I don't know if it's the blonde in me, but I like to smell golden and look golden. So before I shave, as soon as I come out of a warm shower, I spread it all over myself, and then I go in with the razor. It's helped prevent a lot of ingrown hairs and keeps me nice and smooth for a really long time. And then I go over it with my moisturizer, which is this one or something simpler if I don't want an overbearing smell. So that has been my little system. I kind of curated it much like my bag. It's helped me throughout the years. I can do it with my eyes shut. I don't have to think about it. I can jump out of bed, get ready, and head to work, even on those days where you're just not feeling all that great. And then my last little tip has been this gem. It's called Sport 30 and it's a clear spray and it's actually a SPF. It's a sunscreen. Now, on set, I like to look dewy and misty, and you don't want to look dry, obviously. So I don't know if you could see, but these give you a really nice shine without being greasy. So I do a lot of feature dancing. It's one of my favorite things to do in my career. I love getting on stage at gentlemen's clubs, and I do a lot of impersonations. Like I'll impersonate Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, J-Lo. I love doing it. But the biggest faux pas that you can make at a strip club is wearing oil on that pole. There is nothing worse than being the guest of a house dancers club and you have oil all over you because, hey, you're just there for the night, you forget, and then she has to come into the pole after you. And she could possibly die. So it's the worst. So I discovered this because it doesn't leave that oily feeling and it just absorbs right away, and it's just so good on the skin. It looks great in photo, it looks great on video, and on stage it holds its shine without getting all over the pole. So I love that. And now is the tried and true baby wipes. There is not a single adult set known to man that doesn't have at least 30 of these in there. I don't think I've used tissue paper down there in years. Maybe in, the airport or something when you just don't have any other choice. But I hate that feeling of just thinking and knowing, call me crazy, but when it balls up, like that white fuzz afterwards, I hate the fact that I might find it somewhere. So we steer clear out of that. Baby wipes is always a way to go. And that is it for my quick tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way to keep your flower nice and fresh. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure and give it a thumbs up. There is so much more to come. I can't wait to see you at my next video. Make sure and subscribe, and I'll see you right here next time. Bye.